Coming up on the Saturday Scouting Report, the Menifee Bowl is coming up, and both Paloma Valley and Heritage picked up big wins in Week 7. Vista Murrieta reminds us why they're still the team to beat in the Southwestern League. Norte Vista grinds out an important River Valley victory against Moreno Valley. The Rancho Verde adds a new target for quarterback Sharon Jones, and the Mustangs win versus Canyon Springs. Rev's defense comes up big time versus Yucaipa. Roosevelt and Norco hook up in a shootout. Plus, West Valley and Hemet go to overtime. All that and much more coming up on the show, brought to you by Hardy Homes and Estates. When you list with Hardy, start packing. Keep your dog on a leash as we unleash the Week 7 Saturday show, which starts right now. And welcome to the Saturday Scouting Report. I'm Pep Fernandez. Every week is a big week in the Southwestern League as Vista Murrieta gears up for Murrieta Valley this Friday. The Broncos coming off a big, decisive win against Great Oak. Vista Murrieta, the #1 team in the HSGT rankings, taking on the 3rd-ranked team, Great Oak. Second play of the game, the Wolfpack fumbles the ball, and Vista Murrieta is in business. Quarterback Colton Gerhardt had a monster game. Trots into the paint, 7-zip Broncos, #beast mode. The Broncos Department of Defense bringing the pressure all night long. Avoid the Hoyd. Greg Hoyd, the big hit. Great Oak gets on the board late in the first quarter with the field goal, making it a 7-3 game. Vista Murrieta back on offense. Gerhardt to Kyle Williams, and he collects his first varsity touchdown, and Vista Murrieta goes up 14-3. How about some more Bronco D? Tyler Cook, he's got the recipe for a sack. The Broncos defense made life tough for Great Oak. And the offense, they kept putting points on the board. Tito Feliciano, 10 yards on the scoring scamper, 21-3, Vista Murrieta on top. Colton doing his best job looking like Toby Gerhardt, blasting 60 yards on this touchdown jaunt, scoring touchdowns, runs in the Gerhardt family, 28-3 Broncos. Great Oak trying to close the gap, but the Broncos defense would not let it happen. Vista Murrieta forces the safety to make it 30-3. The Wolfpack looking for a spark on the offensive side of the ball, but Buzzy Bolton snuffs out Laquan Williams with a big hit and jars the ball loose for the fumble. Vista Murrieta goes on to the big win against Great Oak. The great Aaron Ruth, the 42-yard field goal as the Broncos win 43-3. Another great matchup in Week 7 came from the River Valley League as Moreno Valley took on Norte Vista. Let's take you out to Moval. Novi up 7-zip in the second quarter. That's where we pick it up. Moval quarterback Dane Watkins watching this one from the sideline because of an injury. Second quarter, Vikings with the ball. Joseph Kinney in at quarterback hits Sean Damon Moore for the gain upfield. Same drive. The Braves defense looking to keep their shutout intact. Kevin Hedlund coming up big time. He's one of the top tacklers in the entire state. Later on that same drive, quarterback Justice Tyler connects with Ronald Gaither on the touchdown as we head into halftime tied 7-7. Novi comes out of the break looking to regain the lead, but the Vikings get the ball first and they set sail down the field. A little obstructed here, but nice catch down the sideline for Moval. And later on that same drive, the Braves defense coming up with a big stop. Anthony Perez gets in the backfield and brings him down for a loss. Novi's defense would rise to the occasion. DeAndre Castanon tips this pass, and Joseph Jolly is right there, comes down with the interception. Novi enjoying their favorite pastry, the turnover. Ensuing drive, the Braves doing what they do best, pounding the ball on the ground. The big battle ram, Andrew Martinez, the tough run, and then it's Freddie Hawley getting the carry. Now these two guys should be like thunder and lightning, smash and dash. They need a nickname. Later on that drive, it's Martinez finding the end zone as Norte Vista goes on to win 28-21 the final. Next up for the Braves is La Sierra. The Eagles taking on Supa Dupa Jurupa Valley. The Jaguars get it cracking with the field goal to take an early 3-zip lead on the Eagles. Now it's La Sierra on offense. Jonathan the Real McCoy breaks off this big run into Jurupa Valley territory, but the Jaguars force the fumble on the end of this run, and the Jaguars would recover. Now in the second quarter, Eagles with the ball once again at midfield. Quarterback Derek Cruz finds Robert Ramirez for the completion. Jurupa Valley's defense looking to keep La Sierra off the board. Hector Mendez leads a host host of Jaguars on the sack. The Eagles, though, still driving. Cruz, feeling the pressure, flings up this pass and finds McCoy on it. He's got some shake and bake action, and McCoy finds the end zone. La Sierra up 7-3. Later in the second quarter, we see Cruz calling his own number and picks up a big chunk of yards on this carry. The Eagles go on to win 20-3, so they're now 2-0 in the River Valley League. Now it's Ramona at home for Patriot. J.D. Hernandez with another big game for the Warriors. He had 3 touchdowns in the loss to La Sierra, and Hernandez with 3 more against the Rams in Week 7. Later it's Ramona's Damon Mays handing it off to Chris Kilgore for the touchdown on the ground, but Patriot would pull away to win this one 42-19. The Warriors will meet Jurupa Valley in Week 8. Ramona is at Moreno Valley. In the land of the Big 8, Centennial continued its dominance, but after the Huskies, it looks like the Big 8 could be wide open, which will make for some great games moving forward in the final few weeks of the regular season. Will somebody knock off Centennial? We'll have to wait and see, but Norco and Roosevelt got together in a shootout. Speaking of great games, pick it up in the second quarter. Roosevelt to Joseph Murrieta, 39 yards to Jalen Brown. That ties the game at 21. Later in the second, Corey Young for Norco, 6 yards for the touchdown, and the Cougars are back in front 28-21. Still in the second, ensuing kickoff, Roosevelt, Taj Jones, 68 yards on the return, and Roosevelt is back in business. The Mustangs give it to Chris Byers for the 1-yard touchdown run, and we are tied at 28 at the half. Third quarter, Roosevelt QB Murrieta picked off by Taylor Willie. Had a big game on defense for Norco and brings it back to the 48-yard line. Now it's Norco QB Victor Viramontes calls his own number, 20 yards on the touchdown run, and Norco is back on top 35-28. Later in the third quarter, the Cougars extend their lead. Corey Young, 36 yards on this run to get the chain gang moving, and they would get some insurance touchdowns. Arthur Tuason, 10 yards on the touchdown run. Can I get a hot tub? That's an insurance touchdown. 42-28 to the fourth quarter now. Roosevelt still battling, but here comes Willie for Norco again. Another INT, and he brings this one to the 27-yard line. Later in the fourth quarter, it's Viramontes going 6 yards to Troy Petrie, 49-28. Norco in control. This one's over, right? Wrong. Roosevelt's Murrieta, 30 yards to Marcus Williams here. And then on that same drive, it's Murrieta fumbling at the goal line, but it lands right into the hands of Roosevelt's Chris Byers for the touchdown. That makes it 49-35. Later in the fourth, Murrieta, 50 yards, airs it out to Praise Abizu. Gotta give praise. 49-42. Roosevelt would attempt an onside kick, but they would not recover as Norco runs out the clock. 49-42 is your final. Norco will host Corona on Friday. Next up for Roosevelt is Centennial. The Huskies handed King its first loss of the season. They were led by Trey Watson with 184 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns. But he ran. He wasn't on a bike. And quarterback Robert Weber passed for 331 with 2 scores. Centennial won 70-28. Santiago at Corona. The Sharks without QB Blake Barnett and running back Joey Camarillo. The Sharks were missing some star players, but they were in good hands with quarterback Tanner Maddox. 33 yards to Isaiah Manley there, and then that would set up Damian Chister. 1 yard on the TD run, 7-zip Santiago. Later in the opening frame, Maddox, 35 yards to Jordan Huffman, and the Sharks are moving the chains once again. That would set up another Chister touchdown, this one from 2 yards out, and that makes it 14-zip. In favor of the Sharks. To the second quarter, it's Manley getting the call. 16 yards on this TD run. Santiago goes on to win 48-7. Heritage will look to improve on its 17-0 all-time record in the Sun Belt League when they take on Paloma Valley in Week 8 in the Menifee Bowl. Heritage hooking up with Temescal Canyon. Lima High Hefo calls me Uncle Pep. He really does. And he finished with 154 rushing yards against the Titans. Later in the third quarter, with Heritage leading 35-14, Brett Virgil takes off on the run for another big gain. Turns that scramble into a first down. That would lead to this. Sione Taki. Now that's what I'm talking about. In for the TD. Heritage up 41-14. But Temescal Canyon would answer. Quarterback Sean Trimble breaks off this long run across midfield and deep into Heritage territory. territory. Later on that drive, the big man, Michael Eram, pounds it into the end zone, and the Titans make it a 41-21 game. But the Patriots go back to work on offense. Hefo with some hashtag pep in his step. Hefo picking up some big yards on that long carry for Heritage. And that would set up another Tahquitz touchdown. Heritage goes on to win 48-28 the final. Paloma Valley taking on Perris. It was the Bebo Show. Quarterback Brent Bohm tossed another great game, spreading around the touchdowns. This one goes to Michael Valencia. The Wildcats improved to 7-0 with the win at Perris. Fred Lundy hauls in this TD pass as Paloma Valley wins 35-6. Now it's on to the Mountain Pass League, where Hemet and West Valley played a great game. Down to the wire. Let's take you out to West Valley. They don't like dogs on their campus, especially Bulldogs. The Mustangs looking to defend their home turf in this one. Early on, Hemet quarterback Justice Judge hits Tanner Manning 10 yards on the TD, and that would tie the score at 7 in the second quarter. Later, it's West Valley QB Mike Cordova finding Elijah Brown, one of his 4 TDs in the ball game. And then it's Cordova with another TD. This one goes to Dakota Kleinman to put West Valley up 21-14 in the third quarter. Now late in the game, it's Cordova to Brown. That would tie the game at 28, but Hemet goes on to win by a final of 42-41 in overtime. Tahquitz taking on San Jacinto, also in the Mountain Pass. The Titans giving the ball to Derek Peters, takes it inside the 10, near the goal line. Peters did the work. Time to get paid. Cashes in with a touchdown. 8-zip Tahquitz after the 2-point conversion. How about some Tahquitz defense? John Reyes corrals the quarterback for the sack. And more Titan D. San Jacinto airs it out, but welcome to Neely Island. Tim Neely, the INT. Welcome to Neelyville. The Tigers keeping it on the ground, and they give it to their standout playmaker, Malik Kimbrough, on this play. And then it's Mario Rubio. Big run up the gut as the Tigers march down the field. San Jacinto caps it off with his P.J. Murrieta to tie Hickson touchdown, but Tahquitz goes on to win by a final of 29-8. Rev and Redlands have jumped out to 2-0 marks in the Citrus Belt League. They'll meet in the Smudge Pot in Week 9. But first things first. Rev at Yucaipa in Week 7. Opening drive, first quarter, scoreless game. Yucaipa had first and goal to Rev 6, but they fumble and the Wildcats recover in the end zone for a touchback. The first of 5 Yucaipa turnovers. Second quarter, still scoreless. Yucaipa on its own 6-yard line. The bad snap recovered by Rev. So they're in business. 2 plays later, it's Timon Faimalo. He punches in the 2-yard touchdown. They would miss the extra point, but it was 6-0 Rev. Now we fast forward to the third quarter. Rev up 12-zip. Armando Herrera, the freshman quarterback, 37 yards to C.J. Harris. Rev goes up 19-zip. They go on to win by a final score of 26-0. Next up for the Wildcats is Miller, who met Redlands on Thursday. Let's pick things up in the first quarter. Rebels on the move with the Terriers. DJ Biggers, that's my DJ, forces the fumble and Redlands recovers. That sets up this. Tony Sandifer gets the call and finds the house. Hashtag pep in his step. Redlands beat Eisenhower last week, which also marked the return of head coach Jim Walker's mustache. Coincidence? The Terriers looking for more mustache magic. Matt Roquet leads the way on this tackle for a loss. Now it's Redlands with the ball on offense. It's Zach, don't call me Sean, Lindsay. Big carry by the fullback. Same drive, it's quarterback Cody Whitaker letting it fly and finds a wide open Marcus Durham for the touchdown. Redlands up 14-0 in the second quarter. Whitaker and the Terriers had a 2-touchdown lead late in the first half, but the Rebels looking to close the gap before the break. Michael Watkins on the ensuing kickoff breaks off the long run for Miller. That would spark the Rebels. They're looking to punch in a touchdown before the halftime break, but Biggers and the Redlands defense comes up big time to keep it 14-zip. Could Miller put together a revolution in the third quarter? Well, the Terriers come out firing. It's Whitaker rolling out and airs it out to Kobe Glass. Redlands pushes its lead to 21-zip. So Miller goes on offense, but there's Biggers. Pick 6, house call, as the Terriers jump in front 28-0 against Miller. Redlands forced 6 turnovers, 8 sacks. Big Brett Landon recovering this Miller fumble. Landon and the Terriers did their job up front, paving the way for Sandifer's second touchdown of the game. Redlands rolls 45-0. Terriers are now 2-0 in Citrus Belt League play. The Rancho Verde is hitting its stride in the Inland Valley League. The Mustangs will meet North in Week 8. And they're coming off a big win against Canyon Springs. The Mustangs all fired up for this one. And you knew from the opening kickoff this game would be physical in the Inland Valley League. The Mustangs jar the ball loose on that big hit. Canyon Springs now with the ball trying to drive downfield. The Mustangs defense delivers nearly a pick six for Quentin Hemphill, and the Cougars are forced to punt. Another hard hit though on the end of this kick, and like I said, physical early on. The Mustangs take over on offense and they give the rock to Keyshawn Slaughter. 42 yards on the touchdown run to put the Rancho Verde up 7-zip. Hashtag green-eyed dragon. Canyon Springs trying to get the offense going and strike back, but the Mustangs take over on the interception. Kayvon Hurd coming up with the pick. But the Cougars, they would waste little time to repay the favor. Tyler Cox comes down with the pick for Canyon Springs. But on the Mustangs' next offensive possession, they go back to work driving down the field. Quarterback Sharon Jones the completion. Canyon Springs would provide a speed bump en route to the paint. Nick Como comes up with a big stop, slows them down momentarily, but here come the Mustangs. The Rancho Verde, Sharon Jones lets it fly and finds Marcus Young down the sideline for the TD. Mustangs on top 14-zip. On the ensuing kickoff, the Mustangs with a little squib kick, and they would recover. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Jones going back to the air once again, hits Marlon Archer for the score. Archer playing his first game for the Mustangs after transferring from Valley View. The Rancho Verde improves to 5-2, winning 48-14. From the Ambassador League, Linfield Christian taking on rival Calvary Murrieta. First quarter, the Lions, Rizer Wilkins. 57 yards on the touchdown run. Go ahead, do the math. Lions go on top 7-zip. The human highlight film, Wilkins going 21 yards on this touchdown jaunt to now make it 14-0. Linfield Christian in front. Calvary Murrieta looking to get something going on offense. The snap sails high. Dallas House lowers the boom for Linfield, and the Lions recover. Linfield Christian going to work on offense. Quarterback Derek Rack finds House for the big gain, and then later in the third quarter, Rack to House, touchdown Lions. And Linfield Christian wins 28-7. Well, thanks for watching the Saturday Scouting Report, brought to you by Hardy Homes and Estates. When you list with Hardy, start packing. And please join us on Wednesday for the Blitz as we will preview Week 8 of the high school football season. I'm Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next Saturday on HS Game Time.